Shopping and remarketing campaigns. We touched on these briefly, but they get complex enough where they were better suited to this session. There are lots of different ways to use shopping and remarketing campaigns besides the obvious. Let's look at shopping campaigns first. Now, these used to be called they used to be called product listing ads. Now they're called shopping campaigns. Generally, they're more retail-centric. We've done some testing with clients where we've done non-retail shopping campaigns with mixed success. And Google makes it hard to really go too far outside the shopping box. But the shopping ads will appear both within the Google search results, and then the shopping campaigns will also feed into the Google shopping search engine. Now, the Google shopping search engine used to be free. It was called Frugal, F-R-O-O-G-L-E. Then Google, 3-4 years back, started to roll it in and make it cost money. But whether you're feeding the shopping search engine or the main search results with the shopping ads, the first thing you need to do is set up a Google Merchant Center account. And your Google Merchant Center account is a separate account where you upload a feed of all your products and their various characteristics. So your typical product feed is going to be product ID, product name, landing page for the product, full-size image, thumbnail image, smaller thumbnail image, full product description, and that's up to 700 characters long. You're uploading that directly to Google. Then you look at things like product category according to Google, your own product category, manufacturer number, UPC, ISBN if it's a book, color, material, gender if it's clothing, new or used, in-stock status, shipping, tax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see lots of different elements you're uploading to Google. And you can do this up to 4 times a day. Or you can do it once a day, or once a week, or once a month. But you upload this to Google, and if you're a big retailer where you have in-stock, out-of-stock issues, or you have a sales or a campaign that might be limited time, you can customize the product feed to dynamically insert that. So only 3 left. Sale ends in 2 days. Sale ends in 1 day. Sale ends tomorrow. And you can have dynamically inserted elements that you put into these campaigns. And you can group campaigns and individual products across numerous and various areas and have different groups that you all set up within your product feed, and it gives you a very finely grained control over what's appearing where. It's a powerful tool, but you need to dedicate some time and effort to maintaining the feed and getting that uploaded on a regular basis. If you don't maintain the feed, Google will start to ding you on it. And Google actually will say, you haven't updated your feed in 45 days. You need to update it within 15 days or we're going to pause your account. So once you start into this, you need to regularly update your feed at least once a month. And it can make sense to do it 4 or 5 times a day if you're in a really flexible stock area. This kind of campaign rocks and rolls around time-based promotions, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. You can have a lot of fun with a campaign and really do some incredibly dynamic ads based on a shopping campaign. Now, what appears within the Google interface, on the shopping engine, it looks just like a Google search result. On the normal search results, you're just going to have a product image, a product name, a price, and the domain it's targeted towards. You don't have a whole lot of flexibility there, and it tends to make price-sensitive products more effective on it. You can play around with having different images and put some text overriding the image, but the images are small enough where that can be a little challenging as well. You can also use a shopping campaign to drive people into a bricks and mortar store, and you can set up features within the shopping where, depending on what location they're searching for, they'll get a different coupon to take into their local store. You can have them triggered when somebody is in proximity to the local Gap. So there's a Gap at Hillsdale Mall. If I'm at Hillsdale Mall and I'm searching on men's clothing, I might get a shopping ad saying, go to Gap and get 25% off men's chinos. Shopping campaigns can be incredibly effective, but they take more than the average bear's effort to get going. And you can set up filters. You can limit it to online, local stores, or both. Again, very effective. I actually bought a dryer for my house on a Home Depot shopping campaign. Remarketing campaigns. Remarketing campaigns are excellent ways to follow people who have already been on your website. The base unit of a remarketing campaign is the list, the audience. You can create these audiences by tagging your site with JavaScript from AdWords or by using remarketing audiences from Google Analytics. That's the easier one to set up and gives you a little more power and flexibility. The AdWords one requires touching individual pages with different little pieces of script, and it's a little more time intensive, and the payoff's not really there. So each list is going to need to get a kind of minimum number of people to get there. There's one list every remarketing account has, and that's the all visitors. Automatically created, and Google will return your list size next to it. Now, I've actually blanked these out because it's proprietary information to my client here. But generally, if your list size isn't at least 500 people, your remarketing campaign is not really going to perform. So you need to get 500 people who have gone through your website in one form or another. You can see here that you can have it open and constantly adding new people. You can close it after a bit. The membership duration, it can be between 30 and 180 days in Google. There are other remarketing technologies out there that can be much longer, but it's between 30 and 180 days, and that's between visits. If you come back to the website, you automatically start the clock again. So if you come back on day 29, you have another 30 days after that. You can set it up on all kinds of different things. So for this campaign, it's my granite countertop retailer. We had a list that was based on people who had completed the online estimator form and didn't actually call up and follow up. So we would follow them around for, I believe it was, for 2 months we would follow them around with ads saying very specific messages. We saw you completed the estimator for Galaxy Black or Galaxy Black Granite for your kitchen. We're running a sale on it. And we had other campaigns that were based on people looking for a countertop in a bathroom, people looking at prefab versus slab, all kinds of different lists. Another one of our clients has a really well-written blog that's very educational, not really too promotional. We actually have a remarketing campaign that's building their audience list based on who goes to the blog and what articles they're reading. It's taking us longer to get the list size big enough to do something with, but as we get the size big enough, it is making for a very effective second and third touch for these people and getting them to come in and actually part with $10,000 or $15,000. Remarketing ads, you can have very creative ones that will appear within the display network and have the graphic and the flash and all that good stuff, or you can have remarketing for search ads, and those will appear just within the Google search. The display ads give you more flexibility in what you can do. You can make something very attractive and interactive. The remarketing for search, these really rock and roll because you're putting your text ads right back in front of people who are back in the pipeline actively engaged in search. And we've seen really excellent performance on these, but the lists are generally smaller. Now, one thing you can do with remarketing lists is you can have other channels drive people to the website. So it could be Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. You can drive people to the website and then create remarketing lists around how they've interacted with the website based on what channel they came from. Again, you define the characteristics of the list. It could be number of pages visited, it could be specific pages visited, it could be actions taken, it could be number of visits within a set time period. All these, if you can kind of logic out what the characteristics of a potential conversion would be, you can create a list around it. Now, remarketing works better when you have a high traffic website, but it can work well for low traffic websites also. Remember to write the ads and serve the ads based on the list. Just don't throw a generic bunch of ads up there. Too many people have done remarketing campaigns that are generic in nature and they perform like a generic campaign. As you're setting up these lists, really be aware of the stalker factor. You saw the list membership. You can also set number of impressions, that, i.e. times they'll see your ad, number of times they click on your ad. You don't want to follow somebody around like a dog following around a guy with a stake. It sends the wrong message. So have control and know your sales cycle. If you have a long sales cycle, 6 months to a year, you might have a remarketing list where you serve one ad for the first part of the sales cycle and another ad for later on. So you have the awareness ads, you have the consideration ads, you have the conversion ads, and they can all be served via sales lists. But you don't want to have the awareness ads follow them around like a puppy. That's going to actually be negative. So think about where they are in the sales cycle. And if you have a short sales cycle and they haven't converted within your normal conversion time, follow them around for maybe twice your normal conversion time and then just shut them off. So the motorcycle gear website I used to work for, as I was doing research, I was looking at their competitors, one of whom was Motorcycle Superstore, and they were really superb at running remarketing lists. They would base it on what you looked at and what you added to your cart. And the ads would follow you around for 2.5 weeks. And if you hadn't done anything in 2.5 weeks, it would stop. And there was also an impression cap on it. I wasn't quite as sure what that was, but they were really good at it. And it showed, and I was talking to the guy who runs the PPC for them, and they love remarketing, but they have a very specific set of characteristics. They don't go crazy with it. So keep that in mind. It's the ick factor, ick being a technical term.